Hi everyone, it's Melissa Bishop, your powwow lady. Hold on, just got done eating lunch and I'm sticky. Um, Gosh, this is the first time I've had Chinese food in a really long time. It's really good. What is your favorite Chinese food? I like sesame chicken if it's not hot and spicy. That's my favorite. So I just wanted to show you some pine cones. These are bigger, more mature, of course. These are little different pine cones from different trees. These are smaller. Um, when the smaller ones open up, oh, here's a better picture. When the small ones open up, they're more flowered. The petals are out more. I started my wild crafting too late. Do you see that? That's either bird poo or resin. Feels like resin or sap. It just bugs me. So it's kind of tricky here in the mountains to do wild crafting a little bit because the weather is so volatile and it affects so much. And I thought, well, it's been kind of cold and it's been a little bit rainy. We did have a few days of really nice weather. And so I think that's what made things kind of escalate a little bit in regards to maturing past the time I want them. So I think it was last year or the year before must have been last year, those tiny little pine cones. They're closed up very, very tight. And I'll see if I have a picture of it and I can post it as my thumbnail. So I put them in a bunch of them in a saucepan, covered them with water, put some sugar in there, and I made a pine syrup, I guess a pine simple syrup kind of thing. And it's good for your lungs. But it molded even though I had it in the refrigerator, it got mold on it. So see, you have to be really careful. A lot of people, there's some controversy between or differences of opinion between if you want to do fresh herbs or dried herbs. And the take on doing fresh herbs is that they'll mold in the tincture. And the dried herbs do not. And don't worry about the dried herbs not having enough juice in them or essential oil in them to uh, extract so you can make medicine. It'll be fine. But I'm a little disappointed that I missed out on the pine cones. One, because they're so stinking cute and they're all wrapped up and they're small and they're kind of a greenish color and brown. And they have this diamond pattern on them. And like I said, when they open up into more flowery shape. They're still much smaller than these pine cones. The other ones are about half the size. And they open up really pretty and they look like little flowers. And the pine cone releases the seeds. So you've got pine nuts. Pinyon pine nuts are pretty popular in Colorado. And they put big tarps underneath the trees to catch the seeds as they fall. And you can collect pollen from pine trees. You can wait until the spruce start to grow and you can get what's called spruce tips. I've probably passed that stage 2 and you can make a syrup for that. And my goal, I have herbal remedy goals and you should too. Every year I think I'm going to write this little list down of things that I want to get. And one of them is pine resin, but I want to collect it from a tree that has fallen. I don't want to get it from a tree that's still living. You can harvest it, but where I am, there's a lot of outdoor activity, and I don't want to scar or damage a tree that someone else is going to enjoy later. But if the tree has already fallen and there's a patch of resin, then I do feel like it's okay for me to go ahead and collect it because that tree is just going to rot and decay anyway. So it's no big deal. Let's see. So I do kind of miss things. When you do wild crafting, you really have to get your seasons down pat and know what you're doing because things go by so quickly. And I thought, well, I'm up here on the mountain. I have a little bit more time with the pine cones, but I guess not, unless those are last year's pine cones. And I don't think so because they're not open, but they could be. Maybe they're last year's pine cones and they haven't seeded yet, but I doubt it. Um, and I was thinking about it because Rob Phoenix from the Powwow family was showing me all the stuff that he was wildcrafting and scavenging from his garden from last year. And being in South Central Pennsylvania at a lower altitude, it's sunnier, the weather's milder. He's already able to harvest things. I'm so jealous, so jealous. So I have to keep an eye out. I have lilac trees in my backyard and along the fence line. They're very prevalent in the older parts of the city, probably because of the folklore attached to them of keeping witches away. You don't really see them on the central and the east side of town. It's more on the west side of town where they're, all the old houses and stuff. They use them as privacy hedges. Um, there's one house in particular. I think I'm going to knock on their door this year and ask them if I can harvest stuff. Now, I could just stand on the side of the road and do it. They'd never see me. It's a little bit dangerous. There's no curb or shoulder on that side of the road. I am the kind of person that is more into begging for forgiveness than asking for permission. And here's an example why. So I went to the house that has the pine tree that I harvest from. It's on a busier main road, but thankfully there is a sidewalk. And there were some lights on inside. There was a big silver truck out front, and there was a little dog inside yapping. So I knock on the door, no answer. Knock on the door, no answer. Now, granted, I am 6 feet tall and I'm wearing all black. Maybe they thought they were being visited by a witch. I don't know, but I'm not a witch. I'm a healer. Very nice lady. I was going to ask permission. Nobody came to the door. Plus, I went past the tree and that little, I think I was able to pick 4, maybe 5 pine cones off the tree and they're dry. So it really does make me wonder if they're leftovers from last year. Hopefully, maybe it hasn't even pine coned yet. Pine coned yet. Oh, so anyway, but there is another place that I like to go to do a little bit of wild crafting, and I'll see if I can get there and do some stuff. It's usually fairly crowded with visitors and tourists, and I don't. I don't like to do too much when I'm around other people. It's kind of like trying to do art when you're out in public. Everybody wants to know what you're doing. Everybody has an opinion on whether or not you should be doing it, how you should be doing it, everything. And suddenly, this quiet, relaxing activity that you were going to go do that's just edifying for yourself has turned into a community project. And I'm cleaning off the top of my desk while we talk. It's just restless. The moon energy has been really weird with the eclipse and everything. Oy vey. Um, so anyway, so that's what I've been doing. I want to gather up some mullein. I want to gather up more plantain. I may have picked up a comfrey leaf. I'm going to have to check it against my herb books. I was walking past somebody's yard, and we just now have a few dandelion plants coming up, and they're tiny. They're like the size of my hand, and it's just the leaves. They're very few of them have the flowers in the center. And then there was this other plant next to it that had these bumpy leaves that were kind of spear shaped. And maybe I'm not sure if comfrey is smooth or bumped. I'm not familiar with it on a regular basis. I don't have any that I'm growing or anything or that I know where is growing. Uh, so I want to try looking that up and seeing what it is that I have, and just trying to get stuff gathered up to do regional wildcrafting for my area. I know that there's people out there that are hunting morels. 2 years in a row, I had morels growing in my yard, and that was it. And it was a while ago, and I didn't realize it until, of course, after they had fully grown and fallen over and started to decay. And I wish that I had known that they were there. I would have harvested them and eaten them. And I missed out. That's another goal that I have, is to eat wild morels that I have gathered and prepared. That's a big deal for me. And then I watch people posting, all of you on the east side of the United States don't know how lucky you are. I see your pictures of turkey tail mushrooms and reishi mushrooms and all that stuff, and I hope that some of you are out there gathering them up and turning them into medicine. I presently, this is how I get my turkey tail, is from Pipping Rock. I love Pipping Rock. They have really great supplements. Um, so that's what I'm doing. I hope that you are wildcrafting. Let's see, Border Healing Woman. I always like to try and promote books about women healers. It's about her life. Very interesting. Uh, just kind of living not a rich life at all financially, but she's out there. She was out there helping people. And I think the New Mexico area. Uh, but it's interesting to see how other people approach healing. And these women are out in the middle of nowhere. It's like, we're going to go visit this healer woman. It's a 3-hour drive off the highway just to get to her road. And then it's another hour driving down her road to get to her cabin. And they had goats and this and it's a whole thing. And life goals, life goals. What can I say? I can just see myself sometime in the future. There's hovercraft all around. And there I am in my little cabin somewhere growing pots of herbs and things. Oh, speaking of pots and herbs. Oh, pots of herbs. Hang on. I am someone who doesn't read the news on a regular basis. I mean, I'm aware of things. They hit my social media news feed, and if I'm interested, fine. If not, that's fine. But local news, I'm just not really up on, much to my dismay sometimes when such places as one of a local nursery that's been in business for 40 years. Maybe it closed its doors. I think last year when the season was over, it was done. And I drove past it the other day because I normally go a different route to church and I don't see it. I came down and went home. The route that took me past their location, and there was a sign for sale for uh, business something or whatever. So they had a $23,000 sewer bill from the city if they wanted to improve the sewer, and they needed to do it if they wanted to stay in business. That's crappy. That's crappy. Either pay $23,000 to do this to the sewer or you lose your business. And they lost their business. And it was a very popular plant nursery here in town. And they are no more. They're no more. And I've often thought about selling a few plants here and there on my driveway. I see people doing that every once in a while. And it comes down to whether your neighborhood is zoned for it or not, are you going to be the a-hole and report your neighbor for trying to make a few bucks selling some plants on a Saturday or Sunday morning? Or are you going to let them do their thing? Because if these things completely go away, it's not just about your neighbor making money, which is always nice for them. It's about not having access to plants, which it's a bigger deal than you might think. You might think, oh, I don't have a green thumb. I'm not much into gardening. I don't garden. My backyard, bare as a bone. Front yard, bare as a bone. I have so much on my plate right now that I cannot. I cannot. And plus, we have squirrels and deer and birds and voles, and they all like to destroy everything. Nature is destructive. Bunnies, we had bunnies come through and they just destroyed our backyard. They lay on everything. So they create the hard pack. They chew up all the tender green plants. And I could just see hundreds of, if not thousands of dollars in plants being eaten by all the creatures. And they're just like, oh, look at this buffet this nice lady put out for us. It's like, it's not for you. So my gardening is just going to consist of a few herbal plants here and there. I have never been able to keep rosemary alive. My house is just too cold and thyme. So maybe I'll put some out on the back porch, on the back patio, and see how they do because I would love to have those two herbs. I actually like to make infused oils with rosemary and garlic, and I give them as gifts. So that's it. That's what I'm doing. Looking for opportunities to wildcraft. I'm waiting for the lilacs to bloom, and then I'm going to make lilac syrup. I'm going to dry the petals for tea. I'm going to make smudging sticks, maybe, just all kinds of things. Yeah, so just looking forward to doing more wildcrafting, and I hope you are too. And God bless you. You guys have a great day. Thanks for stopping by. I really do appreciate you being here. I am a real woman doing real herbal remedies. There's a lot of fake accounts out there on YouTube and other social media platforms, a lot of AI generated stuff. I am the real deal. I'm just here to help you understand plants and how they help with healing. All right, talk to you later. Bye bye. Oh, please like and subscribe. Thank you.